back, my little minions. Back to the bowels of Bowser's Castle you hath returned. Hasn't changed much, maybe a few piranha plants over here, some throw pillows over there. It's cozy, so I'll keep you company, so you won't fall into the pits of molten lava. I'm your host with the most, Mega Drive 20XX, and with me as always is my trusty sidekick, Thrav Ronde.
Yo.
Hey, you should change your name to Rondo. That way Castlevania fans will be tricked into listening to this. Like, for example, Rondo of Thrav, Dracula Z. And then they find out that the Z stands for Zoop from the Atari Jaguar.
That'd make a sick name.
Oh, yeah, you know it. So, tonight, we continue our legendary mascots, either lost or found, with an easy and obvious one, Sonic the Hedgehog. He can really move, Sonic. He's got an attitude. Sonic is the fastest thing alive. Okay, for all you listeners at home, you must remember I am of a certain age where classic Saturday morning cartoons and TV shows are running through my mind 24/7. Namely, the Saturday morning cartoon edition of Sonic the Hedgehog I just sang. Represent, please. Anywho, everyone in the gaming world is super excited for the brand new Sonic the Hedgehog 4, which will be out October 7th on iPhones, October 11th on WiiWare, October 12th on the PlayStation Network, and finally October 13th on Xbox Live Arcade. Yet, we must look back, way back, on what made Sonic such an icon, such a hedgehog, and why in the hell is he blue? The rise, the fall, and the comeback of this mascot is quite the story. Let us venture back to Ottawa, Tokyo, Japan, circa 1990. Sega needed a new mascot to replace Alex the Kid. Let's give a moment of silence, please, since we just covered that poor redheaded kid from last week's episode. Moving on, and somehow to compete with Mario, this little blue bomber was originally designed as a rabbit, which is kind of weird, but that design later went on to a game called Rinstar by Sega, but they said they used him as an enemy character. Then they tried out an armadillo, which is weird, who later became Mighty the Armadillo, whom was actually a rare Sega Sonic the arcade game, and Knuckles Chaotic on the Sega 32X. It was a one-hit wonder, never seen again. And very weird looking picture of former President Theodore Roosevelt, who later became the primary basis of Dr. Eggman, or as old folks call him, Dr. Ivo Robotnik. Now, Mr. Natio Oshima's design was a cute, spiky teal hedgehog, and he was pretty much the crew of Sonic Team at the time, which was chosen and codenamed Mr. Needle Mouse, since a hedgehog is technically classified as a rodent. But why is Sonic blue and not gray like a real hedgehog? Easy. To match the color of Sega's logo. Gosh, that really worked on your eyeballs, didn't it? It sure did for me.
Sega.
Yeah, it's such a cool song, am I right? Sonic's earliest trademarks was his speed, bold look, and attitude. But where does it originate? Let's start with his shoes. Red, with white stripes, and a gold buckle. The inspiration to speed came from none other than Michael Jackson's Bad album cover, which matches his similar style. His personality, however, is quite clever, and I did not know this one personally until now. It came from another American U.S. president known as Bill Clinton. He had this basic can-do attitude from the early 1990s and told people straight up how he felt and what he was going to do. And basically, Yuji Naka loved it and just went with it. Also, the fact that Sonic can't swim, apparently, since he didn't learn from Pitfall Harry. Yet, this was due to the creator, Yuji Naka, to blame, since he thought all hedgehogs cannot swim. Well, he just went with it. Now, Yuji Naka and his team of 15 developers created Sonic Team back then, which was a division of Sega AM8 Studios. And those guys did all the stuff like that. But the most notable is the game series soundtracks from Sonic 1, 2, and 3, which was created by Mr. Masato Nakamura from Japan. But he had a band called Dreams Come True. Now, also, another fun fact is, did you know that Sonic was very much like Mario at one point? He was supposed to save this female human character named Madonna. However, a kind woman from Civic of America named Madeline Schroeder, nicknamed the mother of Sonic to this day, dropped the decision to repeat the same Sonic story that Mario has, and decided that Sonic should save his friends, being little animal creatures. Yuji Naka was not pleased with this, but after the success of the series, he felt it was for the best. Also, everyone and some people are aware of Super Sonic, when it turns all flashy and gold and invincible, right? Well, if you guessed it, you're right. Super Sonic was inspired by Dragon Ball Z's Super Saiyans. Since Yuji Naka was a fan of the anime series, he considered this his tribute to Akira Toriyama. So yeah, we're talking about Sonic and Bowser's Castle. So what? This is our show, and it's not like the little blue bastard came here about 2 years ago with his brawling and crazy Crush 40 soundtrack from the Sonic Adventure series. Yeah, now you remember. Just remember, boys and girls, no assist, no items, final destination. So, back to Yuji Naka, a man with a vision to show off the blast processing of the Sega Mega Drive all over the world, or as you cinnamon rolls over here in North America call it, the Sega Genesis. Wait, that would make me a cinnamon roll, since I'm the Prince of Sega Genesis, right?
Prince Cinnamon Roll.
Who cares? It's all good. I'm so delicious and sweet to all those lady gamers out there. Aw, yeah, you know it's true. So, let's break it down real nice for you ladies and gentlemen. Sonic series started off with a huge success in Sonic 1 and 2. Tons of merchandise, tons of commercials, tons of cartoons. It was so huge that Sonic even had his own brand of SpaghettiOs. Which, by the way, there's still no SpaghettiOs on this earth that comes close to that taste. I will not forget to this very day. In fact, his own comic book series was done by Archie Comics, which is still continued to this very day. Holds the Guinness record for the longest-running video game-related comic book series. The fun fact, North America received Sonic the Hedgehog June 23rd, 1991, and the rest of the world was July 1991. Some believe that this is the reason why Sonic is more popular in America and Canada than it is in Asia. In 1992, Sonic CD was developed at the same time as Sonic 2. They were meant to be the same game, but drifted apart greatly. Sonic CD has had many odd titles that use full-motion videos of cheesy actors like Sewer Shark, Corpse Killer, and Night Trap. Sega's Yuji Naka stepped in after the success of Sonic 1 and wanted to revision Sonic the Hedgehog 1 with a richer graphical take on the series. Sonic the Hedgehog CD featured anime cutscenes, a superb soundtrack, but a very weird twist on the gameplay where Sonic had to race back and forth between the past and the future since Dr. Robotnik figured a way to make Stephen Hawking's space-time continuum theory look real, apparently, way before his time or fame. The Chaos Emeralds you normally collected were now replaced with Time Emeralds. If you break it down, I would call Sonic CD the refined edition of Sonic 1. The fun fact, the Japanese and European soundtrack to this game is completely different, and some say better, than our American soundtrack. I'm on the fence of this one, my friends. I love both. If you listen to the introduction of this particular podcast, that was the American introduction of Sonic CD. Meanwhile, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 wasn't developed, but was delayed about a year due to the soundtrack problem. Truth is, Mr. Michael Jackson himself was one in charge of it. Yes, MJ mastered a few tracks, but was concerned that the sound quality of the Genesis sound chip wasn't to his standards. He left halfway through the project, so the team had to quickly rush this, which some might say that is the reason why Sonic 3 is the shortest of the game series, because they weren't quite finished yet, and here's why. We're moving on to 1994. Sonic 3 was released during February, and McDonald's sponsored it. Those little toys it gave away were so cool. I still have my Knuckles figurine sitting on my nightstand. Don't act like you don't have something like that. You know it's cool. However, Sega was hard at work at another Sonic project, something big, something unique, something called Lock-On Technology. Sega was always 1 foot in the door when it came to new technology. For example, all this Wii Motion, Xbox Kinect, PS Move crap, forget it. Sega beat those guys a decade ago with the Sega Activator. I'll give you about 1 minute to Google that on the internet machine. It made the Nintendo Power Glove seem tame, but who am I kidding? I love the Power Glove. It's so bad. Just like Lucas. 5 points if you know what that movie is. If you don't, you should definitely check it out as soon as possible. October 17th, 1994. Now that was a Christmas season I will never forget. I got my copy November of that year. Sure, Donkey Kong Country came out that month too, but I had to wait till Christmas. Jeez, give a 14-year-old kid a break, why don't you? Now, to explain what lock-on technology did is to say it recycled games. Not just any game, but Sonic games. If you play Sonic the Hedgehog 1, 2, or 3 into the bulky added cartridge slot on top of Sonic and Knuckles, it created an entirely new Sonic game. I mean, whoa! You blew my mind. Magazines like GamePro and EGM were like, oh my god, every game needs this. Sadly, it never caught on, but Sega and new ideas of technology and video games went together like peanut butter and chocolate, man. Hey, stay tuned. We got part 2 coming up pretty shortly here. More Sonic goodness right up ahead.